Hi everybody, thank you for watching this. I'm very excited to walk you through my presentation of online to offline attribution. But before we get into what online to offline attribution actually is, I want to take a moment to speak about where this idea and the ability kind of stemmed from here. So what we're going to start looking at is the concept of big data, which is a term that's been used heavily in the past few years, primarily with a focus around security. With national security on everyone's mind, big data has really become the new tool to fight terrorism in a way. Also, as Forbes had noted in 2014, was the year of the data breach, which had created a lot of fear with consumers. The concept of big data is actually quite old. The closest coining of the term was created back in 1944 in the realization of the idea of knowledge expansion, and that it was estimated libraries would double in size every 16 years. Shortly following that term was the law of exponential increase back in 61. Finally, as more data had been captured, the term information explosion was coined around 67. So the big data concept really revolved around the rapid growth of data created around the world. And furthermore, being able to track that data. Remember, everything you do online is tracked. You may be an anonymous window, or you may be in an anonymous window on your browser, but unless you're using proxies around the world, your ISP or your internet service provider is keeping a very detailed log of the connections you do online. Now, we look into what online to offline attribution is. And because of this massive capture of data, both online and even in the real world, businesses can use this data to monitor and track almost all of their operations. Now, the idea of online to offline attribution is to identify how many consumers are engaged online, either through a website, social media, advertisements, Google searches, and then attribute that person's view or engagement to an actual in-store visit or on-location visit. Now, marketing in the past has been a lot more of an art form than it's been a science. Direct mailers, television ads, radio spots, billboards are all channels of marketing. However, it's difficult to measure the success in these specific channels. Unless you're mailing a coupon to someone that they have to physically use with an identifiable coupon code, or if they have some sort of a rewards program, it's almost impossible to directly attribute these mediums to sales. And for those of you who watch Better Call Saul, that is actually a real number you can call from that show. Now, as we look at digital marketing, which has been around since the 90s, it's really changed the attribution game. With digital marketing, you can run ads on websites, track who engages with them, see where they go on your website, and then just generally see what actions they take with your business. Digital marketing is highly attributable. It's a highly attributable format and is now one of the most used marketing approaches by businesses today. Not only just because of its use, but also its cost is a lot lower with a lot less commitment than it is to make mass printout mailers and huge billboards and whatnot. And companies, email campaigns, websites, social media ads, SEO optimizations, different search ads are all examples of digital marketing strategies. Now, as we look through this, let's say, for example, when you visit a website, like an online retailer, you create an anonymous session where every page you visit or click on is tracked. Even that amount of time you spend on each page, that information is stored. The website watches what you do and the actions you take and tries to get you to identify yourself by either completing a form or signing up for an account, so it can actually attribute your online actions to a person or an account that it can map your information to. Once they know who you are, they then attribute all your online actions to your profile. For example, if you make purchases online or abandon shopping carts, this is all detailed data businesses can use to optimize their marketing for you. The problem is that if you decide to leave the online session and abandon your shopping cart, that might not be the end of the customer journey. The customer may decide that they would rather come in and speak to a professional at a store before making a large purchase. Maybe they want to physically touch and try the product. At this time, it's almost impossible for businesses who offer online commerce with physical stores to directly attribute their online marketing campaigns to the customer's in-store experience. Outside of directly attributing an online account to a rewards program when making a purchase, most businesses are really in the dark. Additionally, you could argue that an online browser to in-store visit who doesn't purchase anything is actually invaluable information to have. Why would somebody see something online at your online store, physically come into a location, and then decide not to buy? What changed their mind? That's a lot of information retailers would like to have. And when we look at the online influence to offline sales, it's staggering to just see how much the internet influences our buying habits. This is a chart from Statista. We can see web-influenced online sales is actually surpassing standard non-web influenced sales as estimated through 2016, 2017. What's even more shocking is how much hype is around online commerce and e-commerce killing physical stores when you really look at what it actually accounts for in a retailer's sales. It's actually quite small. It's a fraction of the sales that they actually make, which is very interesting. So as we look into technologies that are being used to address these issues, first we're going to look into solutions, for example, that Google and Facebook are investigating, which is beacon technology. Beacons are small devices that can be strategically placed in a physical location. These devices emit a low-powered Bluetooth signal that help identify a visitor by passing them key information while also capturing information about the user as they engage with the device. So I'm going to play a very quick video here of an example of how Bluetooth technology or beacon technology works when entering a physical store.
Software of the future will not be created for phones, computers, or tablets. Instead, the developers of tomorrow will use the physical world as their canvas, creating real-world applications and on-site experiences designed for one location and easily distributed to many. To make this happen, we need an operating system for the physical world. At Estimote, we are already building its foundations. We started with beacons that are installed in venues, enabling user location coordinates. Then we added stickers, tiny computers attached to objects that trigger events when touched or manipulated. And now we're introducing another layer with Estimote Mirror, the world's first video beacon. When connected to any screen, the display will show personalized content based on people's presence and behavior. For example, in an airport, displays will show information tailored specifically to each traveler's itinerary. Deployed in the smart workplace, Mirror will improve collaboration and productivity. In retail, shoppers could be presented with relevant product information based on their past purchase history, or, if used with Estimote stickers, which items they've interacted with. And since the video beacon is mirroring content from nearby apps that use our SDK, it doesn't require developers to learn any new technology. Join the worldwide community of pioneers and start building next-generation applications. Order your dev kit today. Estimote. Reality matters.
So what we're seeing here from Estimote, just a really, really cool video explaining how these beacons work in the retail environment. And the idea since Google and Facebook have you logged in when you engage with their ads that run on their platform. They know what ads you have seen and which ones you've clicked on. They know which ones have given you the best impressions and which ones you're actually clicking through to get to landing pages. And also, since Google Analytics is a common website tracking platform, Google can now actually see and attribute what actions you take from searching for something all the way through to the website you actually land on, and then what goals or conversions you make on that website. So Google's already got a step up with search engine technology and Google Analytic technology that people have installed on their websites. And finally, since you're logged into these applications on your phone, as you enter the store with Wi-Fi or Bluetooth and geoservices locations enabled, geolocation services, a business could then directly attribute who you are, where you are in the store, and what actually drove you into that store, whether it was an online ad or a call to action you saw on their website. Now, beacon technology does not come without its own set of problems. First, it does require an app to be downloaded prior to the engagement. So a business that is using ads across multiple services like Twitter, Facebook, and Google, they would need to actually implement their own app to track the user engagement, as there isn't a solution to aggregate all of that data. Now, additionally, Bluetooth is also a service that is commonly turned off to save battery life, rendering the service ineffective. Also, the technology isn't as straightforward as it's touted. There are still several issues related to the proper positioning and tracking and figuring out what your distances actually are from the device, which can hurt the user experience. And also, businesses could use this as a way to spam their visitors, which would stifle and pretty much cripple the adoption of using these beacons. If people just feel like this beacon technology is just another way to be spammed, they're going to shut it off. They're not going to engage with it. And it's going to really cripple the amazing possibilities that beacons can actually offer for people. Now, let's take a look at another solution outside of beacons, and that is using something like online scheduling tools to help bridge the online to offline attribution. And typically, these are all summed under customer engagement solutions in appointment scheduling and whatnot. And these services are geared towards engaging a customer online at key intervals and offer the ability to have someone schedule an appointment with a knowledgeable employee at a location. Browsers are engaged online, whether they're looking in their shopping cart, if they're looking at key pages on their website, and they're offered the opportunity to book a meeting or visit a store at a time that works for them. The businesses then use that information to capture who the customer is and give that information to an on-site employee who is best able to handle that customer's needs. So over on the left, you see more of the online engagement possibilities when a customer is browsing a website or engaging with a business online. They can book an appointment. To the right, these are actually the on-site or on-premises tools that the business can use. For example, a queue display for up next for service. The iPad to the left can let people check in when they walk into stores, whether they pre-booked or walked in. And over to the right is actually a store sales rep tool that lets them see the information of who's coming in, what they're looking for, and properly prep for those customers, and more importantly, what time they expect to be there. With those on-premises tools, the employees can track customers' information like the arrival time, the time spent with the employee, and if they integrate this with their company's POS system or point-of-sale system, you could directly attribute the actual dollar sale, the amount that the person spent, to their online actions, which is huge. It's very powerful for retailers to know this. Now, problems with online scheduling or common issues with these customer engagement solutions is that there's a huge upfront cost. This is a solution that this is a solution that engages most aspects of a company as well. IT has to implement this into their infrastructure. Marketing has to build the integrations on their website and develop marketing campaigns that speak about booking appointments and offering online appointment scheduling. There's there's on-site equipment like smartphones and tablets and digital display integration that's required. You can go with what's called a BYOD, or bring your own device initiative, for your sales floors, but a lot of businesses don't like people bringing in unsecured devices to run on their network, so there's that issue. There's also the aspect of notifying customers that they have the ability to book these appointments. So constantly reminding and letting people know that this is something that you have available to them. It's just an awareness issue. There's also a lot of training that needs to go into a solution like this, not only for operationally, but for management and figuring out the reporting and the information you put into this, but also just general usage by the sales floor. This is a huge transition that sales floor employees will have. All of a sudden they're looking at their phones to see who's available, who they have to talk to next, and what the person's coming in for, as opposed to just kind of walking around a store and catching people as they need help or answering phones. And then finally, of course, you have to be disciplined to use and add the correct data. Bad data in is always bad data out. If you're not properly tracking when a customer arrives, when they've left, what their satisfaction is, and other notes that should be attributed into the booking process, then you're not going to get clean data out to make proper decisions. So it makes it very difficult to get disciplined to make sure you're entering correct data. And so, as we kind of sum this up here, we still have a long way to go when it comes to online to offline attribution. However, it's something that's a growing need, especially with banks and retailers. These businesses require more and more data when it comes to their marketing spend to ensure that they're spending it in the right places or in the right areas, which is putting a lot more pressure on marketing teams to deliver results. And so, that's really it. I know that this is a recorded webinar, so I can't take questions live. But I do want to keep this engagement going because online to offline attribution is something I just personally am interested in. So I will be monitoring questions in the database area. If you'd like to put those in there, either attach them to the presentation the presentation thread or the document or report thread. I will be reading through there. Also, you're welcome to email me directly at chris2carroll@gmail.com. I'm more than happy to answer questions or just have a further discussion about online to offline attribution. Everyone, thank you so much for your time. I hope this was helpful, and have a great rest of the class. Take care.